this ball out of the skeleton.
Marcus Macaulay Culkin?
Exactly, Trace. So he goes up and gets a little toe jack. Usually it's just receivers, the skill players. But check him out. High points the ball and then gets that left foot down. And then right before he goes out of bounds, he gets the right one down. See, I love it, man. Yeah, Marcus Macaulay Culkin. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
And plus, shout out to his quarterback, known as the Wet Bandit.
Oh, God.
Ew. You know we love it.
Sam's like, I don't know you, and I don't find that funny.
I caught that. That's great. Hey, all right. You laughed, though.
Of course I laughed.
All right, here we go. Let's go to number 4. The Browns taking on the Ravens. Who's he looking for in this one? This was a beautiful throw and catch on the sideline. Kareem Hunt. Ooh-wee. How about this? This is like, just when you...
What is it?
Do it. Just when you thought he was gone, he comes right back. Like Michael Keaton and Jack Frost. Like, is it just me or did that movie creep you out?
Scary as hell.
This is a weird movie. It's supposed to be a holiday movie. His dad turns into a snowman.
That snowman will come after you.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that. But check this out. He catches it with his hand trapped in his
What's
body.
Jack Frost have to do with that catch?
Because just when you thought Kareem Hunt was gone, he came back like Michael Keaton and Jack Frost.
There's something very meta of you trying to get both toes down on your wordplay. You know, like sometimes you get it in, sometimes you don't.
Hey, did I get my feet in, Hammer? Yes,
it's a catch.
It's a catch. All right. So this is beautiful. What I do love about this, though, he's in the air and puts his feet almost parallel right in front of each other, and then he gets the dead leg. So it's a combination of the toe drag and the dead legs. But shout out to my guy, Kareem Hunt, back in business making plays for his team. We'll see what happens next year with that backfield. All right, number 5. Let's stick with the same game. You know what I'm saying? Because Odell Beckham, he's making plays, and I don't care what you say, he is still one of the premier playmakers in the league. He goes up, snatches it over one of the best DBs in the business, Peters, and it comes down with the ball. Now, it's funny, because everybody said that Odell was going to act like Bad Santa.
Right.
But he's not. And even though he wore the Grinch cleats, I mean, listen, Odell, he brings the entertainment. I mean, if he doesn't, who will? All right.
Hey.
Wow. That's good. People at home are loving these punts.
Are you okay with that?
All right, but here's the thing. Odell Beckham, still a playmaker. And I get it. People are saying, well, Odell wants to be gone. He's telling teams, come get him. Really? Really? Or is this all speculation? Can we just let Odell live? What do we say? Oh, man, as soon as he doesn't get the ball.
Gun. Remember you opened season of week 1 against the Bears? He said, we have a defense. Guess what? They still do. Take it away, 12.
There's really nothing like checking that first box and, on the goal list to winning your division. Obviously secures a home playoff game, and now we're playing for even more coming up next week.
It's a tough place to come into, too, and play. The crowd was electric, and we knew it was going to be tough, and that's a damn good football team. So just real happy for our guys. That was one of our goals, is to win the division.
Well, you achieved goal number 1 with excellent manicured eyebrows.
Oh, those brows are so good.
The quarterback who threw his first interception since back in week 6, 3rd of the year. Now we flip it to the NFC playoff picture where we have a bit of a tie. 3 teams sitting at 12-3. The Niners have the tiebreaker for the 1 seed because they, of course, beat Green Bay and they beat New Orleans. The Packers have the tiebreaker over the Saints because they do have the better conference record. So this playoff picture, very intriguing, a lot of ins and outs. And then, of course, Nate, we have the addition of Marshawn Lynch to add to some of the excitement.
Yes.
Does that change the way you look at this playoff picture?
It does. I feel like this time of the year, if you're playing good football, that's one thing. But if you're healthy, it gives you more confidence. And that's what Seattle had on its side for so long. Their playmakers are healthy. Russell Wilson is always on the field. Tyler Lockett had a run of consistent games where he wasn't banged up. All these things were going right. And then the one position that anchors this squad, regardless of how good Russell is, regardless of how good the wide receivers are, the running backs go down. And we're not talking one guy. We're talking your superstar in Carson and then your young superstar in Penny. And that just hit me low. I mean, it was like a blow to the kidney, and I had to get up off the ground. But then all of a sudden I got news that Marshawn is back. Now, I'm not saying this takes me from hoping that the Seahawks do a little bit of damage to them winning the Super Bowl, but if Marshawn Lynch is in any kind of shape, which I assume that he is. Kyle said something earlier in the show. He's just one of those dudes that are built differently. If you want to say he's born to run, he's born to run. Even when he has time off, he'll come back and play well. I feel like Marshawn Lynch will help these guys get that confidence they need back, that health they need back, And to be honest, a little bit of attitude.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe Seattle needs that nasty.
Can he fix what's wrong? There's something wrong with the Seahawks. They have an amazing record, and I'm not dogging them, but the fact of the matter is they were smacked around by the Rams and Cardinals and barely held on to a thread of life against the Panthers team. So we're asking Marshawn, I just want the expectations to be he comes in here and outproduces and outperforms Chris Carson, because there's other things that are wrong on this.
He was not a young player when he had the Beastquake run. He'd already had his Buffalo stint.
Yeah.
True.
The Beastquake run was in 2010. We're about to be in 2020.
A decade ago.
You're asking a lot from a guy who has been really good in this league, hasn't played since week 6 of last year, and even when the Oakland Raiders thing happened, he wasn't really Marshawn Lynch. So I love Marshawn. I think he brings a lot of energy to the Seahawks.
It'll be so fun.
It'll be really fun.
Energy and identity, too.
It does, but I'm not sure he's what Carson was to that team. And to just say, okay, now they've got Marshawn Lynch, you're expecting a lot.
In that conference, who do you like then?
I think the San Francisco 49ers showed us something Saturday night that they hadn't showed yet, and they've won a lot of big games in clutch ways. They beat the Saints down in New Orleans, but to be tied in that game and to have 2 third and longs, which have been just a complete Achilles heel for them, third and long. They were 0 for 20 on 3rd and 15 or more all season. 4th down, last drive, Kendrick Bourne on a 3rd and 12. And then we go 3rd and 16. Garoppolo, please convert it here. We're on our own 25. Finds Emmanuel Sanders. Like, time and time again, this 49ers team has answered the bell. And now they go to Seattle, and Seattle beat them in their building earlier this season on a great Monday night game. I think a lot of people are like, all right, the other shoe's going to drop. The Niners keep on showing that they are who they are, and that's a really good team, and Garoppolo is a really clutch quarterback. I don't think they drop the ball on this. I think the 49ers go up to Seattle, take care of business, and lock up that 1 seed.
Their estate piece, of course, is the win against the Saints. I mean, that's everything. And yet, I'm going to do this. Okay, I started the segment saying, what's on your Christmas list? I'm going to give you something you like. Okay. Christmas time is about you get the Christmas cards, all right? And one of the most fun things about getting the card is seeing the card from that same family last year and how have they changed and how the kids have grown up and everything. There's a lot of things to knock about the Saints if you want to. They've had some big injuries on defense. They did lose to the Niners. Let me show you the Drew Brees Christmas card from this time last year to this time this year, because, oh my goodness. On the left column is how he was performing down the stretch last year versus now. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, washed, arm isn't there, he doesn't have it. 13-0, 129.5. We can all be oohs and ahs about Michael Thomas breaking records and Kamara being back. It's all about 9. He is playing light years better than he was down the stretch. He lost to the Niners at home. I think he would take that game any day against Garoppolo head-to-head. The Breeze thing is massive. I don't think there's a quarterback playing better in the whole league right now than him. I like the Saints picking up stride. Christmas card looks great.
Great, complete team. They look awesome. To bring it back to your Seahawks, it's them in Week 17, right? The guy you're talking about versus the guy. It's hard. All those things that I said, them having close games, some weird losses, injuries, losing Chris Carson, but they still have Russell Wilson. So that's what, it's like the great equalizer. Like, who do I trust in a big game, in a playoff-like atmosphere, even at home where I know that it's lost some of its luster up there in Seattle? Russell Wilson sort of makes up for all of that, but it's not on Marshawn Lynch's back is what my point was.
Yeah, when it comes to the Saints, I mean, you can say that about every team, right? You know, close games, weird losses, and defense. You know, the Titans, without Derrick Henry, took them down to the wire. If we nitpick every single team, we'll find something negative about them. That's why I always emphasize or try to reemphasize their record. At this point, you are who you are. Everybody has some type of flaw. The difference is how big is your strengths and where does your weaknesses stack up? Now, when the weaknesses are at the same level, you're not going to do anything in the playoffs. But if you have strengths and it's like a minor thing on defense that you can fix, you're good. Any of those teams can make a run, just like the Saints, just like the Seahawks. I mean, the NFC is loaded. It's awesome.
If anybody can make a run, Triggs, I ask you, you visit these stadiums. I know, Nate, you played in them. Who is it most important for to get home field?
Home field is so huge, and historically, New Orleans and Seattle have always been places that are impossible to play. And yet, you mentioned it. I just watched an Arizona Cardinals team with Brent Hundley walk into Seattle and win. I saw Teddy Bridgewater walk into Seattle and win. I saw Lamar Jackson go into Seattle and win. And then New Orleans, Atlanta playing for nothing. A bad Atlanta Falcons team at that point in the season beat the Saints in New Orleans. So I am very curious to see how these home fields play in because historically, Saints and Seahawks impossible to beat.
Don't count
Green
out
Bay.
Lambeau Field in
Green
January,
Bay.
dude. Forget about it.
Facts.
5 degrees and snow.
I've
You
seen,
was there.
hey, and I've seen Kaepernick run all over that field in January and beat them in playoff games.
And
I've
Mike
seen-
Vick, too.
I've seen Eli beat them in playoff
Who's
games.
most important to get home field?
I was there.
I think it's the Packers.
Yeah?
I really do, especially the way they're playing this year. I think that defense needs the home field. I think they need the conditions.
Kyle, you make a good point about Drew Brees, man. I think
Looks
that
good,
blessing
bro.
in disguise, that injury, Teddy
yeah.
Bridgewater holding down the fort, it's almost like he needed the rest.
I know.
And now he's playing healthier than any other quarterback.
Schrags, he looks pretty cool. Do you have something cooler than this guy right now
Yeah, give
to
me
show
something
us?
cooler.
What do you have?
How about a Landon Roberts?